Okay, I had to make this video today too. I just randomly decided on Tuesday I was going to do this, right? It's not Wednesday, but you know, time kind of ran different for me. However, this is a video about Itachi. We all know about Itachi Uchiha. He's powerful, he's strong, intelligent, all this. But as it relates to him being a Uchiha member, there's three people who are more powerful than he is, right? Now I'm gonna lay it down on you like this. Itachi, right? We're gonna give you the facts, right? This boy was exposed to war at a young age, so he had to, grow up quickly. He started grabbing kunais and doing all that extra stuff, right? He started, training and hitting that shit hard. Boom, boom, boom. He started hitting these, targets. He started hitting real fucking targets, going on real missions. They said, hey, man, your son's good enough to become a shinobi. We put him in tuning, before he's age 10. He's a prodigy. He's one of them talents like that. He joins the Ambu Black Ops, right? He's being taught by Shisui, and Kakashi's his, leader, right? Gets to the point where he has to, kill his clan. He does that, because he prioritizes the village, and he, seen the importance of, being a hidden leaf ninja. And it was like, really fucking hard on him. And I think that's what you people do. You focus on that part a lot. And you ain't wrong. That part's really fucked up, right? That he had to do all that. He had to cut his people down, even though he didn't want to. And then he kept his brother alive so that his brother could then kill him for, basically what he's done. And then his brother, Sasuke, also looks like, hero because he killed somebody who, went against the Leaf, killed his clan. You get it. You people who watch Naruto, right? He has his EMS eyes, or not EMS. He never had the EMS, even when he was brought back to life. But he had Mangekyu Sharingan, so he had the Susanoo, Amaterasu, and Tsukuyomi. All great techniques, beating a lot of ninjas in Naruto and even people in Boruto, if you ask me. But he's not like that. If he were alive, right, fully alive, he can't even use his Mangekyu for long before he might go blind, right? He was gonna have to die anyways, right? When it's all said and done, this man's in the top, not in the top 10. I'll tell you, he's not in the top 10. Like, even if we're just looking at non-Boruto feats, right? Just Naruto Shippuden, this man's not in the top 10. Not in the top 10 at all, boys. He's right outside the top 10. And another thing, he's not beating Naruto. Even with all the intelligence and planning. Look at, when he was brought back to life, he said that we all together, right? He said, Naruto, Killer Bee, and me, we all have to attack that attack together. If we don't, we'll be fucked. We'll be pulled in, we'll be boxed in by this, planetary devastation. He knew that. He was like, we have to band together, not I can handle this shit myself, guys. Sit back and watch me do this. He never said that. He never said that. You know, those guys, Naruto and Killer Bee had to, help him out. Now, he was using his mind and he was being tactful. He was, giving them instructions and letting them know what the fuck's going on. That neither any of them could like attack that thing by themselves and, actually destroy it. They had to band together to do that. He helped them realize that, but that's not enough to like, if he's there one-on-one with him, he basically knows he's fucked if he has to fight against Nagato by himself. And I don't even have Nagato in the top 10, y'all. They're both right outside the top 10. And then I say all that to say, when it comes to the Uchihas, without their renegades, these niggas without the renegade, Obito is stronger than Obito. Or Obito's stronger than Itachi, right? Obito's ahead of Itachi in intellect, experience. He was onto him. Itachi was onto him a little bit, but he never got the answer. And even when he planned to, do some shit, Obito had his own plan. It's called Kamui. He can get that shit off of him. He had no problem with that. The only thing Itachi has is, which also Obito has, is the Izanami or Izanagi, whichever one he wanted to use. But I don't believe that Itachi wins that chess match. You know, Obito's a guy who, man, he has a pretty crack, genjutsu. It's unique to him, and well, not him alone, because Kakashi had that too. Another Uchiha is Madara. Madara beats Itachi. Let's not cap, nigga. He fought against the first Hokage in many, not just one, since they were children, since they were 10 years old, all the way up until they were like 35 and they created the village. He was like, nigga, we have to run that shit every fucking day for, 3 decades damn near. They ran that fucking fade against each other like all the time. Just randomly when they found each other. Itachi's not doing that shit against Hashirama. he's he's doing Itachi's doing decently, but Madara had to like change game plans and shit, because by all means Madara should be beating Hashirama, but Hashirama has that fucking regeneration, right? He don't even have to weave the sign, and he can regenerate, right? And when he died, he looked like he was like fucking 40 something when he was actually like older than that, right? And he was fighting him, right? Those two are in the top 10. Madara, Obito, Hashirama, not quite Itachi. Smart. He's really smart. Compared to him, experience is crazy. He fought against the Allied Shinobi forces. We will not see Itachi run, the Allied Shinobi forces like that and fight against the Five Kage in that manner. He wouldn't even try shit like that. He would know. He would be like, man, I think I could fight half of you, but all y'all, man, I don't think so. That's what your boy Itachi's gonna say when he's coming up against the Five Kage and shit, boy. Not no cap. He's gonna be like, oh, half of y'all, but all of y'all, man, he'll fight them all, and it ain't like he ain't gonna fight them, man. That ain't what I'm saying. But he ain't, he knows the reality of that situation, and it's not that. Furthermore, the last person is gonna hit some people really hard, and it's Sasuke. Sasuke is like that. Sasuke was weaker than his brother. We ain't gonna cap about that. That's facts. I'm bringing up the facts for you Itachi fans. He was stronger than Sasuke. Most older brothers who are like have an age gap, that makes sense. Little boy who's like 6 years old compared to a fucking boy who's like 12. Come on, man, who's gonna fucking win that shit? The 12-year-old's gonna win, right? 12-year-old versus, you know. Then when they become older, Itachi still has the upper hand a little bit, but then he's sick and he's losing. People like to like downplay Sasuke's base Sharingan, and I know he has the best base Sharingan out of all the Uchihas, even Madara. And I'm talking about base 3 Tomoe Sharingan. No EMS and shit like that, boys. Just straight base Sharingan. he has the best one because he was able to break out of that Tsukuyomi that people like to glaze so much. And he did that with a base Sharingan. He had no Mangekyu. You know, Tachi told him, "Come find me when you have the same eyes as me." He was like, "Nope, I have to break out of this shit real quick." He did. Tachi was like, "What? Goddamn, now I have to fight this boy in ninjutsu." Putting Sasuke on an even playing field with him. And this was before he got the EMS eyes, right? Now that he has the same powers as Itachi, he can even do more. He's so good with the Amaterasu, he calls this shit flame control. He can, move it however he needs to. Really more masterful at the uh, Amaterasu than Itachi is, to be honest with you. You know, took a while, but he did it. 3 Uchihas that should be, talked about a little more. Now, I know Madara's talked about. Don't you dare forget about Obito and Sasuke, man. They definitely fucking have their weight in that. And they beat Itachi too. All those 3 Uchihas are in the top 10 characters in Naruto as a whole, right? He didn't quite make it. That guy is almost there, but not quite. See, if this man could have maybe killed Sasuke and took the eyes, but the story wasn't written that way, or maybe there was a way where he could himself get the EMS, things would be different. But with all he has, he's smart enough to use Izanagi or Izanami. But these people, even those 3 people that I mentioned, even Sasuke, who's like not the smartest out of the 3 I mentioned that are stronger, is still smart enough to break out of that shit and understand that he's under some kind of shit like that. So he'll break out. So basically, this video is Itachi isn't what you think, but still a decent character. Be cool, call on the corner, and let me know what you think about that in the comments.